the dramatic and transformative tale of World War I. As the dawn of the 20th century approached, Europe was a cauldron of tensions and alliances. Nationalism, militarism, and imperial ambitions were on the rise, setting the stage for a colossal conflict. The spark that ignited the flames of war was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in 1914. A web of interlocking alliances swiftly pulled multiple nations into a global conflict. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're embarking on an in-depth journey through the complex and pivotal events of World War I. From its origins and key battles to its profound impact on the world, we'll explore every aspect of this significant historical event. So, get comfortable and prepare to dive into the dramatic and transformative story of World War I. Our story begins in the early 20th century, a time of great political tension and alliances. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria on June 28, 1914 in Sarajevo was the spark that ignited the war. The Archduke's assassination by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist, set off a chain reaction of alliances and conflicts, leading to a full-scale war. Following the assassination, Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia, leading to a declaration of war on July 28, 1914. This triggered a series of mobilizations and declarations of war among the great powers of Europe, including Germany, Russia, France, and Great Britain. The war quickly escalated, with the Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and their allies, facing off against the Allied powers, France, Russia, Great Britain, and later the United States and others. The early stages of World War I saw rapid movements and significant battles, such as the Battle of the Marne in September 1914, where the Allied forces successfully halted the German advance into France. This battle marked the beginning of trench warfare, a grueling and static form of combat that would come to define much of the war on the Western Front. Life in the trenches was brutal and often deadly. Soldiers faced constant threats from enemy fire, artillery bombardments, and chemical weapons like mustard gas. The harsh conditions, including mud, vermin, and disease, took a severe toll on the soldiers' physical and mental health. World War I was not confined to the Western Front. It was a global conflict with multiple fronts and theaters of war. The Eastern Front saw massive battles between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Russian Empire. Significant battles like Tannenberg and the Brusilov Offensive demonstrated the scale and ferocity of the fighting. In addition to the European fronts, the war extended to the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. The Gallipoli Campaign in 1915 was a notable and tragic attempt by the Allies to control the sea route to Russia. The campaign ended in failure, with heavy casualties on both sides. World War I was a total war, meaning it involved entire nations and economies, not just the military. Governments mobilized resources and populations on an unprecedented scale. Propaganda campaigns aimed to boost morale and support for the war effort, while rationing and war production transformed everyday life. Women played a crucial role on the home front, taking on jobs traditionally held by men, working in factories, and serving as nurses near the front lines. Their contributions were vital to the war effort and marked a significant shift in gender roles and expectations. The United States initially remained neutral, but several factors eventually drew it into the conflict. The sinking of the Lusitania by a German U-boat in 1915, which resulted in the deaths of 128 Americans, and the interception of the Zimmermann telegram, in which Germany proposed a military alliance with Mexico against the United States, swayed public opinion. On April 6, 1917, the United States declared war on Germany. The arrival of American troops and resources provided a significant boost to the weary Allied forces and helped turn the tide of the war. The final years of World War I saw several turning points. The Russian Revolution in 1917 led to Russia's withdrawal from the war, allowing Germany to focus its efforts on the Western Front. However, the continued Allied offensives and the growing presence of American forces weakened the Central Powers. In 1918, the Allies launched the 100 Days Offensive, a series of successful attacks that pushed German forces back and led to the collapse of the German front lines. Faced with internal unrest and the inevitable defeat, Germany sought an armistice. The armistice was signed on November 11, 1918, marking the end of the fighting. The Treaty of Versailles, signed on June 28, 1919, officially ended the war. The treaty imposed heavy reparations and territorial losses on Germany, sowing the seeds for future conflicts. The treaty also established the League of Nations, an international organization aimed at maintaining peace and preventing future wars. While it had limited success, the League laid the groundwork for future international cooperation. World War I had a devastating impact on the world. An estimated 16 million people, including soldiers and civilians, lost their lives, and millions more were wounded. The war caused widespread destruction, particularly in Europe, and left many regions in ruins. The economic cost of the war was enormous. Nations faced massive debts, and the war fundamentally altered global economies. The social and political upheaval that followed contributed to the rise of totalitarian regimes and set the stage for World War II. World War I changed the course of history. It reshaped borders, altered societies, and left an indelible mark on the collective memory of nations. The war also spurred significant technological and medical advancements, as innovations developed during the conflict found peacetime applications. Today, the legacy of World War I is remembered through memorials, museums, and annual commemorations. The sacrifices of those who fought and suffered are honored, and the lessons of the war continue to influence our understanding of conflict and peace. In conclusion, World War I was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the world in profound ways. From its origins and battles to its far-reaching consequences, the war remains a powerful reminder of the costs of conflict and the importance of striving for peace. Thank you for joining us on this detailed exploration of World War I. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insightful historical explorations.